Jesus, you said I be a picking, no. Jesus, you said your love will cover me. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I look around, now you are the pillow. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, yeah, you know me, you know my name. Papa, you know my name, oh. Abba Father, yeah. You know me, you know my name. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yeah, yeah. Yelele, yelele, yelele. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Papa, you know my name, oh.
Yes, Abba, Father, you know me, and you know my name. That is what is very clear and understood, and for the Ambazonian people, because the Father, the creator of the heavens and the earth, he knows Ambazonia and knows you by name. Exactly 5 p.m. on the hour in Boya, in Ambazonia. This is our Amba history. And today we are going to continue with part 2 of the tale of two nations. I told you yesterday, and to those of you who were with me in the studios yesterday, to share and call all Ambazonians abroad and all Ambazonians at home and all friends and those who actually love Ambazonia, even those who hate Ambazonia but would like to know the truth about the history of Ambazonia. I told you yesterday, call all of them, bring them into the house so that they can have a foretaste of what Ambazonia actually is all about. Remember, we like taking you back to the real history. And the real history is that Ambazonia, which was called Southern Cameroons, remain to be our land, as we call, aka Ambazonia. And because we call it Ambazonia, on the tale of two cities, I made sure that I bring to you the origin of the name Ambazonia. And I did mention it in our program of yesterday. If you didn't listen to it, I will crave your indulgence to go back, sit down, take some time, and listen to the history of the Ambazonian people, former British Southern Cameroons, if you are not one. And if you are an Ambazonian, please call on others. Yes, call on others to sit down together with you and listen to this wonderful history of ours. It's a beautiful history and you cannot afford to miss it. Today is the 20th of September 2023, and it is the year of acceleration, as was announced by our president at the beginning of the year 2023. After the tumultuous years of the middle of 2021 into 2022, where a chance was given for those who think they can spoil and those who think they can kill God and those who think they can overthrow God, they should do the worst that they can do with God. And when that time was given And at the end of the day, they couldn't do anything. 2023 brought us into a new down. And that new down, our president declared that it was the year of acceleration. And anybody who heard that New Year speech and heard the resolve of this interim government, you will know that it is really the year of acceleration. And as we are accelerating, a number of things are happening. There are those who are just sitting at the corridors. When we accelerate and something good comes in, they pick it up and attach it to their names. And those who have actually gone out there hoping and believing that the deceivers that deceived them was saying the truth, they have discovered that they were just being led like a sheep to the slaughter. Well, I have been saying it privately, and I'm saying it here on the government forum, that the presidency of the Federal Republic of Amazonia, and more so the interim government as a whole, has an open door policy for those who jumped out from the interim government thinking that they were going to get something as was promised, and they suddenly discovered that the bandwagon was driving towards La Republique, Yaoundé. They have realized themselves, the door is open. The president said, for you to come back and get back into your LGA, get back into your county. That is what this acceleration actually means. Now, today, 20th, is remaining 3 days. As I announced to you, and I'm announcing, the acceleration year has seen already 8 counties of the 13 Ambazonia counties drafting. And these 8 counties that have already drafted, which let me see if I can try to call all of them. No, I may not be able to mention, but let me just try to see what I can do. We have done the Federal Capital City. We have done Kope Maniguba. We have done Lobialem. We have done Mezam. We have done which one again? Well, I think I'll try to find out the counties that we have drafted, and I'll let you know, because it is very, very important for you to know that we are drafting the this is the 9th draft that we are going to draft. Out of the 13 counties, we have drafted 9 already, and shortly, very soon, yes, I'm going to show you. Yes, let me go ahead. I now know and have first-class information as to the counties that have been drafted, and I will say them here according to their respective order of drafting. Bui County was drafted: Gokutunja, Manyu, Kope Maninguba KMC, Dunga Mountain, Mezam County, Lobialem, and Federal Capital Territory that has been drafted. And of course, Momo County also was drafted. I was almost missing that out. Momo County was drafted. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 counties that have already been drafted, and Mincham County that is coming up after tomorrow is the 10th county that is drafting. The 10th county. I was saying the 9th, but it is the 10th county that is drafting out of the 13 counties. And we all know, and we do believe that the announcement of the presidency that this year was a year of acceleration, irrespective of all those who jumped out from the interim government and decided to stage whatever they staged against the interim government and against our fight, which has not worked. We thought that when you step out of the interim government, you are going to point your guns at La République du Cameroon. But unfortunately, we discovered that the guns of our brethren, we call them our brethren, mistakenly or by virtue of whatever are still trying to point at the interim government, and of course, under the guise of President Sako, they take to point their guns at him, which is a wrong thing to do. And so Mitcham County, being one of the counties that the Ambazonian nation is facing, has actually stood out to be the 10th in the nation. Before we get down to after tomorrow, which is Mincham's Day, I want to remind the Ambazonians that we have a twin event that is going to be cataclysmic and fantacoca, and talk of anything that is beyond description. These are the two twin occasions or celebrations we are going to have this year, 2023, irrespective of who is where and who is who. The celebrations are: number one, the 30th of September is the United Nations Southern Cameroons Day. The United Nations Southern Cameroons Day. And that is going to be celebrated around the globe. Wherever we have Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonians, they should get ready with the United Nations flag. That day, we don't want to have any confrontation, especially those of you at home front, with the Ambazonian people, but then come out with the United Nations flag. You can go into the internet and carve it out. You can put it on a piece of paper. You can print it out in a cloth. You can do whatever you want to do. Just go inside there, because as a United Nations member, because British Southern Cameroons recognized on the 1st of October 1961 by the United Nations, giving us our independence with other strings attached to it, which do not actually matter now. Because what we know is that our independence on the 1st of October became a reality. And when they almost told it, we restored it on the 1st of October 2017. And so that stands. But let's go back to the announcement I'm making. I am telling the Ambazonian people that on the 30th, which is a Saturday, there is going to be a Southern Cameroons or United Nations Southern Cameroons Day. And we encourage all Ambazonians at the home front to make sure that you celebrate this day with pomp and pageantry. Then, on the 1st, of course, many Ambazonians who are listening to me now know and experience what I am about to say right now. Since 1961, when I was still a little young boy growing up, every 1st of October, I will see and hear some of our parents being locked up. There was a popular place in Bamenda called BMM. Every 1st of October, we'll go around there to see those whom we thought were causing confusion. But there are people who had witnessed and seen the progress of the Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia. And so they were still fighting to make sure that the British Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia stands. We didn't know. And today, I am head, toe, and nail into the battle. Well, I can see some people pointing at me and laughing at us and asking questions, just like we did until our eyes were open. Fellow Ambazonians, dear people around the globe, I want to tell you that this fight has been going on for the past more than 6 decades, and I'm telling you, there is the bottom line, because when there is a beginning, definitely there is an ending. And who brings the ending? God Almighty. So I want to tell Ambazonians that the 1st of October is at hand, and God will definitely bring an ending to what is happening in the southern Cameroons. There will be an ending. But before the ending, we must celebrate our 1st October wherever you are. I enjoin you to find out where these celebrations are going to be, and please make yourself available because it must hold. It must hold, whether the devil likes it or not. I know La Republic is mad as it sees the Ambazonian people on the global media coming up with these celebrations. They are mad, but unfortunately, their madness will end only with them because they can't stop Ambazonians. The idea of Ambazonian independence is an ideology that cannot be killed, even if the person you think is the promoter is taken out of the way. Ayuk Tabe and his crew, they are still in the Republic dungeon. But the Ambazonian issue and situation is getting stronger and stronger. So can you see La Republique? All nations told you that the 2 cubes of sugar cannot be melted. You thought it was a joke. Now you see it. You have changed. You brought Aga to Bamenda. He could not do anything. You brought Valerie in Kia. I don't know whether he's still there. And you brought other people who say we're going to sweep Bamenda. We gave a laugh because we know that our laughter was based on him who actually owns this fight for us, and that is our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That the whole arsenals of the world cannot pull him down and cannot make this particular fight to stop abruptly. No. So you're wasting time. You better get up and be real and be realistic and then get back to your position so that there could still be chance for you to call us to come on the table and we sit down and try to discuss whatever we have to discuss if you think it can. But if not, well, go ahead, continue to waste your time. And I tell you, not too far from now, you will get the results. And the results will be very, very traumatizing to all of you over there in Yaoundé, and especially those who have trusted in lies from La Republic of Cameroon. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think it is at that juncture that I will end this announcement that on the 1st, 30th, and on the 1st, there's a twin celebration, especially in Berlin, coming up in Berlin. There is a great organization going on for Berlin in Europe. For those of you who want to get more information, you can get in touch and I will be able to direct you on how to get to Berlin, particular 30th and of course the 1st of October. It is going to be wonderful. And some other parts of the world, also in Washington, in the USA, something is going to happen there. And definitely in some other places, which I will withhold now. But in the days ahead, we will tell you when the explosion has happened. The devil is a liar. Let La Republique now know that the lies they are telling all over have had a limit and the lies have expired. They can't continue and it will not work. So it is at that note, ladies and gentlemen, people of Ambazonia, that I am going to go right away into the continuation of the Tale of Two Cities. As you can see on my board, the Tale of Two Cities for the historical facts of Ambazonia that most people, and candidly even some Ambazonians, they don't know, and they just roll along with the lies that La Republic is spewing out. We want to tell the Ambazonians that the lies must come to an end. All right. Now, yesterday I ended on point 2, where we finally talked about our first Prime Minister, Dr. EML Ndele became the first prime minister, and Southern Cameroon's parliament sat for the first time in its first session on October 1st, marking our independence. October 1st. That was before, 1954. That was before our independence. You see, they even had the meeting on October 1st. Now, Ambassadors, wake up. October 1st is revealing, has something. Now, yesterday, let me just give you a summary. I read to you the Southern Cameroon's insertion and status in international law. And I read to you a number of flags that they had from July 1817 to July 1887. Let me just read the date. 1817 to 1887, we had the British flag flying in the Southern Cameroons because of the alliance they had with our nation, especially with our neighbor Nigeria. And then 1887 to 1916, we had the flag of German flying over the German Cameroon territory at that time. Then you have 1916 to 1922, you had the British flag again flying over that territory. And then you had 1922 to 1953, we had the British flag fully flying with annexation, with us attached to or working together with Nigeria under the trusteeship of Britain. I gave you details of the date yesterday. If you want to know more, just go back to the slot of yesterday. It's found on YouTube. It is found on how do you call it? It's found on Facebook, and it is found on WhatsApp, on other media that you can go in there and look for it. Then 1953, when we walked out from the Enugu House of Chiefs, led by the youth leader at that time, Dr. E.M.N. Ndele, created, and on the 1st of October 1954, we had the first session of our parliament in Boya. And then 1953 to 1961, where we had the quagmire, the attack on our sovereignty, and the game that United Nations is fully involved. 1961 to 1975, we have the flag of Federal Republic of Cameroon, because this flag of 1961 to 1975 had 2 stars on it, because Ahidjo confessed that the Federal Republic of Amba at that time, Southern Cameroon, was not going to be absorbed to become a sub-nation to La République du Cameroon. And so our symbol of the flag with 2 stars appeared that we were equal. And then they further went ahead. In 1975, they played a very fast game and called it United. And when they called it United, we still had a little part to it, because they now brought the star and put it in the middle, to which some of us thought that it was equality, but they were actually reverting to something that we did not fully understand. And then in 1984, they went back to Republic of Cameroon, leaving out the Federal Republic of Cameroon, leaving out the United Republic of Cameroon, and going back to the Republic of Cameroon. Now, logically speaking, they went back saying we have conquered, and we have conquered the slaves. We have conquered the people, and we have now brought them home. They will be our slaves. That's why some of the Francophones from La République du Cameroon are understanding our history more than some of the Maquisards that we rescued, thinking that they were coming in and we showed them kindness, but they have decided to show us wickedness that they are doing today, like Ayabacho is actually doing, because his tracing from our home has not been found. And so, Ambazonians, I want you to understand this far that we have come. And from 1817 to 2017, which is exactly 200 years, our Ambazonian independent flag started flying on the 1st of October 2017. Now, that is the journey we have taken. Now, I will go again to read to you some dates here, and we will continue. On the 27th of September 1914, Britain recaptured the territory she had ceded to Germany in March 1887. You can go back and read the story. And succeeded to capture Douala in the process. That was Britain. In March 1916, after Britain, France, and Belgium defeated Germany in the rest of the Cameroon, Southern Cameroon was internationally recognized as a territory through the signing of the Simon-Milner Agreement. You can go and Google out the Simon-Milner Agreement to see the recognition of the Southern Cameroons right as far back as 1916. Now, we go ahead. On June 28, 1919, the Versailles Peace Treaty, done at La Palaise de Galerie de Glaces, Versailles, France, confirmed the Simon-Milner Agreement and crystallized the physical and legal birth of the British Southern Cameroons in international law, binding Britain, France, and Germany, and witnessed by the United States of America. All these Ambazonians are found in the archives. So if nobody tells you, it means they are lying, or there is an interest that makes some of these people whom we call international community to hide some basic historical facts, of which many Ambazonians, being ignorant, are staying put, and even those who know have been blinded spiritually, and the spiritual blindness is manifesting physically in that they are like dogs that cannot bark. You can't imagine that in a government that claims equality, and then somebody who is from Southern Cameroons comes fifth position, sixth position, and that even that sixth position is a portfolio without any documents inside, meaning that they just do that to deceive and fool the Ambazonian people to believe that they are one. And of course, this genocidal war that they are bringing armor tanks and war machines and sending them to a nation that they call part of their nation is very funny. That your house is on fire, part of your house is on fire, and then you are lighting the fire to finish it. Strange for a nation to be fighting against itself. Very strange. And so it is very clear from all these evidences that the Federal Republic of Ambazonia never and does not have anything in common with La République du Cameroon. We thought they were neighbors, but we now see them as enemies. But then, Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia is a land that is filled with God and ready to forgive. British Southern Cameroons became a League of Nations mandated territory in 1922, while on December 13, 1946, Southern Cameroons became a UN Trust territory by document number A152 REV2 under Britain, while Le Cameroun Français became a separate United Trust territory by document number A155 REV2 under France. So you see that we were both trust territories with different masters looking and taking care of us. So we could not have been one, and we are never one. From that time till today, it is very clear that we are not one. Now let's go. Southern Cameroon's international boundaries. The west borders of British Southern Cameroons was defined by an 11th March 1913 Anglo-German treaty. It's found in the books. It's there in the books. The east border of British Cameroons was defined on the 9th of January 1931 by the Cameroons Boundary Commission, which met in London under the League of Nations and landmarked the international boundary, building concrete cement pillar marks along the border with specific topographic documents co-signed by the administrators of both countries in the London Cameroons Boundaries Commission. Now, when we come to tell you about the history of Ambazonia, we are not giving you tales. We are telling you real things that do exist. And because they do exist, they are verifiable. Did you hear me? You can verify all these things. It's not the propaganda that somebody sleeps and dreams and gets up and signs a decree. No, it's not that one. This is documented. All right. State Treaties Series number CMD 3639 stroke 03-9 of January 1931 is the commission, the boundary commissions of London and Southern Cameroons. You can check up in their files, it is there. The complete Southern Cameroons border was established and published by the British in Council Definition of Boundaries Proclamation number LN 126 of 1954 between Eastern Nigeria and Southern Cameroons, and later enshrined in the Southern Cameroons Constitution. You see, we had a constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, Southern Cameroons had a constitution. And La Republic Cameroon, with all its thievery and all its stealing prowess, came in and tried to hide it. And now they are calling on some lewd fellows to come and distort what they want to call history. No. Thank God that as he kept the children of Israel, so did he keep the history of the people of Ambazonia intact, so that nobody can play a fast game on the Ambazonian people. We are going to get a bit of music, and when we come back, I will continue to read to you the article of the Tale of Two Cities, Part 2. Let's get this assuring word from our Reverend Abba Father.
Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. You know my name, oh Daddy. You know me, you know my name. I can see your hand in my life. Lord, I see your love upon me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. I dey hear your voice in my heart. Lord, I feel your love over me. Every time I look around, now you
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, brother. We can hear the voice of God in our hearts, and every time we look around, we can see our God who has preserved our unadulterated and unflinched history that La Republic has tried to corrupt over the years. But then Ambazonians listen. Point number 5 of the Southern Cameroons insertion and status in international law. Point number 5. Institutions and administration of Southern Cameroons before independence. Southern Cameroons constitutional conferences, Lugard, Macpherson, Littleton constitutions of London and Lagos in 1953, 1957, and 1958, each lasting at least 3 weeks, provided a solid working constitution, came into use in 1954 and made Southern Cameroon's self-governance and power alternation a model for parliamentary system for others to follow. That is what happened in Southern Cameroon. Listen, Southern Cameroon's constitution, they worked on this constitution for a number of years, and it came to fulfill its purpose when the Southern Cameroons got into self-governance in 1954. The House of Chiefs of Southern Cameroons, of which La Republic has tried to make a fake one that is not even holding, a fake House of Chiefs where they call some Hans Liga and bootlickers and call them chiefs. The House of Chiefs of Southern Cameroon was made up of paramount chiefs and was a legally recognized legislative body of the nation, similar to the Senate, with political activism, and a clearly defined constituency. Not the one today that La Republique takes our chiefs, demote them, bribe them, and then make them to dance to the tune of CPDM. Why are they dancing to the tune of CPDM? They're dancing to the tune of CPDM because of the little support they are getting. Well, Ambazonians, I know that many of you are watching at the home front. Share it. It doesn't matter what these other people are doing, but I want you to share the link so that people can hear the history. La Republique will not want so many people to listen to it, and those who do not love Ambazonians' eyes to be open don't want Ambazonians too and other people to listen to it. But if you can share it, it will do us good. Yes, it will do us good. Now, let me say here, Southern Cameroons had a prime minister. But no, let me go back to the House of Chiefs, which La Republique has made a fake one. I remember that when one of the kings, I think whether King Nebuchadnezzar or Assyria, one of the kings went to Jerusalem and took away the vessels of God, the compromising king that was at that time make fake vessels to put in the house of God, which did not serve the purpose. And so La Republique tried to make fake chiefs, fake house of chiefs in Ambazonia at this time. And we all are witnesses that those fake chiefs are not serving any purpose because most of their palaces are found in Yaoundé. You cannot be a chief in Jikwa or in Gembu or in Asongabi, and then your palace is in a strange land. It's not possible. That's not our culture. That's not our costume. And so the fake chiefs that La Republique tried to do have clearly proven to some of us who saw these first chiefs in Ambazonia to understand the same plan that Rehoboam did when he built a fake god in the northern kingdom and said, let's go and worship there and not in Jerusalem, of which the king, the history of Ambazonia is a replica. It's just directly the history of God, because Ambazonia is standing with God in all that it's doing. Southern Cameroon had a prime minister, a house of chiefs, a house of assembly with opposition parties in parliament, a judiciary with a chief justice, a functional civil service, an active police force, and a booming economy. Now, in italics, it is said here that apart from the fact the territory had international personality by virtue of its status as an international trust territory, the Southern Cameroons was a state in the process of being born and was known by the sovereign name of government of the Southern Cameroons. That is, Cameroon was known by this name before the purported independence that UN came in to give to us on the 1st of 1961. We were already self-governing. Many people don't like this. International community possibly may not like this history because it's revealing their nyash and showing their shortcoming, or rather exposing them to being hypocritical in what they do. But we are not saying this, international community, to shame you. We are saying this to say that we have dug it out, so come out and do the right thing. I know that it is a shameful thing for a whole organ that is meant to give people peace to be flagrantly doing that which you are doing. It's a shame. But that shame should not make you to go into your hiding. Come in the open and let's talk about it. Let's talk about it and get back to where we're supposed to be. Because Ambazonia, in the name of Southern Cameroons, was self-governing. All the parties know about it. We are not here to hide anything. I'm reading a document that is found in the archives of the United Nations. And those who are there, if they are truly human beings of conscience, they should immediately get back to settling this unwanted and uncalled war that they have sat in a conspiracy of silence of though United States of America had actually said that La Republique was not going to win this war with a gunshot, and it is clearly proven. And now they are shaken because after they have used every political weapon, used our very close brothers who speak the same language with us and have not succeeded, they are now almost, but please, the greatest of prophets that ever lived, Prophet Samuel, when God sent him to anoint a king for Israel, he made a mistake. Even though God sent him, he still made a mistake from the divine. So when you make a mistake, you should not be sacrificed for your mistake, except you remain adamant. I want to force your mistake into the truth of a people like the Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia. It will not work. Now, let me go to point number 6. Political discord and disappointments of Southern Cameroons at the UN. Please, this is not written by me, the historian. These are documents that are coming out from the United Nations, and they know about it. So don't say, if you are castigating me because I'm reading it, that's a cup of tea. But I'm just reading what has been written. Let's go. Political discord and disappointment of Southern Cameroons at the United Nations. Was Southern Cameroons disappointed at the United Nations? Well, let's hear the answer. Southern Cameroons wanted the option of independence by itself, but her British tutor wrongly, Britain, assumed that they did not have the resources to stand alone, telling lies in the broad daylight, because at that time, the budget of Southern Cameroons was supporting Northern Cameroons because they have almost nothing. And at the end of the year, there was an estimated overflow of 5,000 pounds. I cannot get the figures right now, but it was thousands of pounds that were outstanding. And Britain saw that Southern Cameroons was very, very determined to be self-governing. They met them when they were already self-governing. If not a demon, an evil spirit that came upon Britain, if not possibly because God wanted Southern Cameroons to prove to the world that they are for God. I mean, what would we say was the cause of Britain lying to the United Nations? They were part of it. And when they lied, France took an advantage because they teamed up with France. We know that France is a master of lies, just like La République has an advanced PhD in lies telling. Something is very clear like this, and they go in there and they say another thing. I had warned people to stop listening to La Moreau. CRTV if you can, because there are so many channels. When they blow, I know that their lights are always very loud and shining, like the things that are coming from one country that makes very shining things. I won't want to call the name here. So British tutored the United Nations wrongly, and they did not have the resource, that we did not have the resources to stand alone, thus refusing to give Southern Cameroons the right to self-determination by not giving them the option of independence apart, in violation of United Nations General Assembly's Resolution 1514 of the 14th December 1960. Go and read that resolution. It was very clear for self-determination, and we were to be self-determined. But Britain, the punishment, if God is to punish Ambazonian for fighting back, Britain will punish 10 times. It's just like the guy who killed Cain, that God has said he should not kill, Lamech. He cried out and said that his punishment was great, and he suffered. So Britain, let me tell you, if you don't repent and make amends, as we come out every day to cry and talk to you for the lies you told and put us in this slavery, you will suffer. Ambassadors will not give you any punishment. No, they don't have the powers. But God Almighty, who is the judge and judges right, will not let you go free. Take it down and mark it very well. All right, let's go. Of the three questions proposed by the Southern Cameroon's delegation, join Nigeria, join Cameroon, or stand independent alone, only two were offered to citizens of Southern Cameroons. Meanwhile, they who were in the United Nations and tried to fight for complete independence they were rejected. And this rejection by this delegation was spearheaded by Britain, and France followed suit. That means someone else choose for them and not they themselves. And that's what they still want to do today, trying to force us to stay with La Republic of Cameroon, the same UN that treated us in this wicked way. Southern Cameroon grew to become a state with a successful airline company, Cameroon Air Transport, airports, seaports, international companies, banks, schools, hospitals. Let me tell you, Ambazonians, when I read these things, which I tasted a bit of them, I'm very vexed. I'm very mad. That's why some Cameroonians and many Ambazonians don't understand why we, they call us old men, why we are fighting this fight and ready to sacrifice everything and anything. It's because I saw the Cameroon transport. I saw the airplane itself. I went to Tico. I didn't only see it in paper. I went right down to Tico Airport and I saw the air transport in the early 60s, before La Republic started chopping us like erosion, little by little, little by little. We had the best hospitals. Bota Hospital was still reigning, but right now they came in, took over, and when they came in and took over, look at where we are today. La Republic has put us almost at the tail end. It's very, very sad that even they themselves, they don't know where they are. But Ambazonians, you know what? We shall wake up. Our hospitals shall come back. International seaport, international companies. I mean, the bank that was reigning at that time was Cameroon Bank. Cameroon Bank was a Southern Cameroon's bank. And I know the manager, one of the 4 founders of that Cameroon Bank. He's still alive today. It's just that he's an old man, but not too old, just managing his life. I have visited him at least 2 times in his home, and we have talked. And he's from Ambazonia. Oh my God. Look, Ambazonia, we are coming. Hello, Ambazonia, we are coming. Tico Airport, Bisongaban Airport, Bali Airport. Which one again? Tell me now. Oh, Way Airstrip. Do you know planes were flying to Way in Wada? Oh my God. Look, Ambazonians, when I wake up here, when I wake up, I'm going to make me a vex. Okay, this is international talk. I'm talking to all the people. Some of the people that did not know anything about Ambazonia, they are listening. Now, listen. This peaceful, prosperous, promising nation with a rapidly growing economy had its first peaceful democratic alternation of power at the head of the nation, second elected prime minister in 1959, while Le Cameroun Français was getting their first appointed prime minister, premier, and going through a military insurgence. This was the time of the Maquisards, when some of the Bamilekes, the Bassas, felt that they were not enjoying the privileges that some of them managed to cross over to southern Cameroons with a laissez-passer to see how free we were and how interesting we were enjoying our freedom. Oh my God. Father, I pray that you open the eyes of these young Ambazonians. Some of them are sitting on the fence saying that will not thing, that will not thing. But they don't know that we are fighting to bring them to a point where we were. Interestingly, La République du Cameroon was given full independence and Southern Cameroons refused the independence. Why? Why did they refuse Southern Cameroons the independence? Why? This is $1 billion, $1 billion, $1 trillion question worth investigating. And so I shall be coming back to you. To continue with the international guarantees given to the peoples of Southern Cameroons by the United Nations and other partners. I shall be coming back to you with this as the days go by. But for today, I want you to sit back, digest all that I have said. Remember, it's not me talking. I am reading a historical article that I said, if you want, I can send it to you. And to those of you Ambazonians who have decided to be blinded, please open your eyes. I command you, open your eyes in Jesus' name. You say, Mr. Historian, where does Jesus come into this thing? Jesus is here. Jesus comes in everything that we want to have success here in this Ambazonian fight. If not of Jesus, I wouldn't be here. La Republic would have swallowed me, like he has tried to swallow so many people, using all kinds of fraternal, Rosicrucian, Amok, Freemason, and all their demonic powers to trap us down. You know, our president, Dr. Samuel, is striving and we are going ahead. And the ideology, as I said, is an ideology. Southern Cameroons is an ideology. Nobody can kill it. You can arrest every other person, but you cannot arrest God, who gave us Southern Cameroons. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the history is sweet, nice, and long, but I would like to pause here for a while and give you an appointment for a continuation tomorrow, 5 p.m. Amba time, as we go on to talk about our Ambazonian quest. That it is not something that just started yesterday. Because some people say, I say, a pastor, why not make us say, maybe they keep people there? Village girl, who told you that it is we who are making it? It is a quest, a fight that started a long time ago. Do you know how many Ambazonians La Republic killed in the days of Ahijo when they were trying to assimilate and annex us immediately? They silently killed hundreds of thousands of them. I say it, hundreds of thousands. For the 20s, is it 22 years or 28 years of Ahijo's reign? He killed tens of thousands of Ambazonians, if not hundreds. And because there was no what do you call it? There were no cameras and there was no modern media at that time. So we could not see the killings that were carried out by these proxies of La République du Cameroon, of France. And as I told you, Britain was the major players in this fight. So, Ambazonians, if we are going to point a finger to anybody, let cursing fingers be pointed to Britain. And they will suffer for it, for telling broad daylight lies while they were collecting money from Ambazonia, southern Cameroons, and taking it to Britain. They told lies that we were not able to lead ourselves. And today, 68% of the GPD of the entire Cameroon comes from Ambazonia. That's why France, after playing a game from Federal Republic to United Republic and then going back to La Republic of Cameroon, so that we can be completely engulfed and then we become useless and be slaves for La Republic of Cameroon, as it has been for the past 60 years. We have said that no, our children and our children's children will not suffer these consequences no more. We will fight until the last man leaves the southern Cameroons, Ambazonia. Well, brother, come in. Abai, Father, you know my name. Master. Well, that is not end here. It is here, ladies and gentlemen, because of we're having some interruptions there from my network, and the studio is just keeping silent in some of the places when I'm talking. It is on this note that we will stop here and give you an appointment tomorrow, 5 p.m. Amba time. Talk to your friends. Let's come in. Let's listen to this history together, and you will never regret. Reverend, people like you, Jesus loves. Come in and tell us, Abai Father, you know the name of Ambazonia.